Hey everybody, Bloodwing here. Back to bring another episode of Rednecks and Pigskins, Blood on the Pig Iron, on the Gridiron, Pig Iron.
Get it together.
Yeah, I know. Come on now. With me, as always, is Minding Freedom. Say hi, Minding.
Hi, Minding.
Hey.
And and my son, J Kid, is back for this week. Say hi, J Kid.
Hi, J Kid. That's my line minding.
It's not.
Actually, it's Scribe's line.
I don't know who that is, so he don't matter.
Yeah. So, week 5 is in the bag. Interesting week as this whole season has been, as we were talking about before the stream started. It's been an odd season. So we should have a lot to talk about. Followed by crickets.
We definitely
Yep. We should.
We should have. One thing wanted to touch on, Colleen Bernier sent me a tweet reminding me of the story of, and doggone it, now I forgot his first name, last name Forrester, line coach for the Miami Dolphins.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, his careers went down the tubes.
He was with the Dolphins. It was already in the tubes.
Chris Forrester. Chris Forrester was his first name. For those of you that don't know, there was a video that started to go viral of somebody that looked like Chris, who's was the offensive line coach for the Miami Dolphins, and snorting a white substance off of a table with a rolled up dollar bill. Since Colleen sent me that story, it has come out that came from an ex-girlfriend, a model in Las Vegas, who had sent that out. Anyway, she claims that he used to snort coke off of her body. And he has since resigned. I'm sure just moments before they lowered the hammer.
I mean, look at the teams he has been the offensive line coach for. Ravens, 49ers, Redskins, 49ers again, and now Dolphins for 2 years or 1.5 years. Did any of those teams ever have an offensive line that was at least good in the last 10 to 12 years?
Not that I recall.
No.
Yeah.
And one of the
maybe
things
he needed that white powder to.
Well, I was reading up on it a little bit.
Happy.
And before the stream, and apparently I haven't seen the video, but apparently in the video he mentions he's getting ready to go to a meeting right after. So not only is he snorting coke, he's snorting coke on the job.
Yeah, I'm sure he was fired up in that meeting.
Come on, you guys. Anyway, so yeah, and I bring that up because it's like it never ceases to amaze me. People that just have it made, have a great job, a great career, a great life, and just throw it away. I just don't understand.
Yeah, I don't get it either. Then again, it might be an addiction, and I mean, there's no rational explanation for an addiction. So,
well, yeah, that is true. Having an addictive personality, I can testify to that. So, what else we got in news?
Well, I think the biggest elephant in the room might be the guy who fed all the time was now fed his suspension finally.
Mm-hmm.
Ezekiel Elliott, after the injunction that came earlier this season, Now the Fifth Circuit Court, I think, ruled that he finally has to take his suspension of 6 games. And just on, I think, Friday, he was finally put on the suspended list by the commissioner. So now the Dallas Cowboys will have to look for the next 6 games. They have Darren McFadden and Alfred Morris in the backfield. So far, from what I saw on the depth chart, is that Alfred Morris is going to take some more touches, but we'll see how that works out.
Yeah,
It's gonna
go ahead.
it's gonna be a big hit. Neither one of those are to the quality of Ezekiel Elliott, but he's still allowed to appeal. So who knows if this is going to take effect immediately?
Yeah, from what I heard, he is trying to appeal, which would then probably lead to another injunction. And we're gonna see how that works out. Maybe he's gonna be suspended next season if that appeal process is gonna start, and then it's gonna fall through the end of the year. I don't want to think about it really. We'll see what happens.
I don't know. The whole thing just bugged me. Why it even went on as long as it did. I mean, it was almost to ridiculous levels to me. Maybe I'm just being a grumpy old fart as usual, but
when are you not?
Well, that's pretty much true. Hey, listen, it's getting really hot here in my room, so I'm going to turn a fan on low. You guys let me know if it becomes interfering with the...
I got mine running already. I hope you don't hear it.
No.
Great.
We're having one of those... fall here in Indiana is odd. We go one day where it's just rainy and in the 50s, and then go to a sunshiny day in the 70s the next. So you never know whether to keep your air conditioning on or not.
Oh, I do.
Well, yeah, you do. You're the guy that never turns it on, period.
Yeah. It's pointless.
All right, and then we got some more news. We had the last stream last Saturday. So on Monday, the Buccaneers finally followed through, and they didn't release their kicker Nick Folk, who missed 3 field goals against the Patriots. They put him on injured reserve. I don't know if he is injured or not, but they put him on injured reserve and signed Patrick Murray, who I never heard before, but okay.
That tells me the team beat the crap out of him after that game.
Maybe. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, me either.
Yeah, then we got the Giants and their receivers, or what's left of them. Odell Beckham is on injured reserve. Dwayne Harris is on injured reserve. Sterling Shepard is not going to play this week. They signed Travis Rudolph and Tavares King. And I think that who's their number 1 guy now for this week? Roger, what's his fucking name? Giants manager Roger Lewis. Roger Lewis is the number 1 receiver for the New York Giants now. I mean,
well, yeah, they were already depleted at the beginning of the season, and this just took a bad situation and made it nearly impossible.
Somehow J-Kid still has to hope that they win 1 game.
It's not looking good.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. No. Maybe we get our second 0-16 ever.
And I'm sorry, Corey. I'm sorry. Corey was actually at the game last week, so I'm giving him my sympathies. I know. All right. What else we got?
We also got Michael Floyd, wide receiver, who finally served his suspension, was activated now by the Minnesota Vikings, who in return released running back Stephon Ridley. So that's especially with Stephon Diggs now being out, at least for this week. They got Michael Floyd now on the field, which could be some kind of help they need with the number one guy being out. We also have, I'm looking through right now. That was all on Monday. Brent Marshall also on injured reserve for the Giants.
Yep.
They signed Ed Egan from the practice squad. Never heard of him.
That's going to be the story of the wide receiving core. You're not going to hear of them.
Yeah. And of course, on Tuesday, the big news was Adrian Peterson, the old man, traded from New Orleans to Arizona for a 2018 draft pick. From what I heard, it is a conditional 6th round pick. Which kind of surprised me. I mean, we're talking about Adrian Peterson here. It's not like we're talking about a guy in his 40s or in his 50s who runs like Bloodwing. We're talking about Adrian Peterson.
You've never seen me run.
Okay, maybe you would have been a 7th round pick, maybe.
Well, in my youth, perhaps. These days, run's not even in the vocabulary.
Okay. Yeah, and the Cardinals in return released the guy they got after David Johnson was injured, Chris Johnson, CJ2K, now back on the market. I'm really fascinated. I want to see how Peterson is going to work in Arizona. I don't think he's going to be that good, but we'll see.
I think he'll do better there than he did in New Orleans. Arizona's a little more run-oriented.
Yeah, first that, and second, he doesn't have this crowded backfield that he had in New Orleans with Ingram and Kamara, who both can run the football, and seen that both of them can. In Arizona, he's gonna be the number one.
Yep. Until David Johnson comes back.
All right.
And not to change the subject,
of course.
Not to change the subject, but still does bring up a good point. Please, out there in chat, please do put a like on the stream, share it on Twitter, Minds, whatever platform you got, because YouTube's not going to help us out with that anymore. So let's get the word out there. Okay, carry on.
All right, that's completely fine. On Wednesday, the Detroit Lions placed their defensive tackle Haloti Ngata on injured reserve.
Okay, carry on.
I'm hearing double.
Yeah,
that was me.
YouTube, yeah. Or J-Kid.
Just because I'm talking about the Lions now.
No, my phone decided to refresh on its own.
Okay. Haloti Ngata placed on injured reserve, and they signed defensive end Datone Jones, who I know pretty well because he was a Packer for a good few seasons, and also defensive tackle Karan Reed, while they waived a linebacker whose name I've never heard before. And so that's the story of Wednesday, basically. Any thoughts, J-Kid? It's your team, so.
I mean, it sucks losing Nada, but yeah, I don't see it hurting or helping either way. The defense was already struggling, so I don't think it's going to make a whole big difference. It's still
a whole butt.
Yeah, it's still going to ride and die on the offense, and unfortunately, Matt Stafford.
I mean, the Lions are standing 3-2 right now, right?
Yeah, but they can beat sad teams and lose to good teams. They beat who they should beat and can't beat who they have a chance against. So I'm not really all that impressed.
Okay. On Thursday, the Cincinnati Bengals placed Tyler Eifert, their tight end, on injured reserve, which means that what's that kid's name again? Tyler Croft, I think, is playing with the first team now most of the time. He's going to be their starting tight end. We'll see what this kid can do in an offense that was pretty much, I wouldn't say reliant on Eifert, but they targeted him a good amount.
Their red zone offense was relying on Eifert.
Yeah, pretty much. On Friday, we got something very surprising. The San Francisco 49ers released their veteran linebacker and probably the best guy they have on the team, Navarro Bowman. That came out of nowhere.
Did they ever give a reason?
Not from what I heard.
Then I don't understand it.
I don't either. It's a win situation for him. Like, he can now find a contender. I mean, he's 29. That's not old for a linebacker. If he was a running back, 29, okay, yeah, he's close to the 30, maybe, you know. But a linebacker, I don't know, 35 or something.
Unless he requested the release, I don't get it.
Oh, yeah. He did request the release. Yeah, sorry.
Okay,
you're right.
Then I understand.
He did request the release, and the 49ers accepted that request. Yeah, sorry. I completely forgot that.
Then it makes sense. Otherwise, San Fran would have completely messed up by getting rid of their best defensive player.
Yeah, the best player they have on their whole team.
I mean, yeah, that could be.
Look at their offense. I mean, well, maybe Carlos Hyde, but no. And today we got the news that the Kansas City Chiefs placed their wide receiver Chris Conley on injured reserve and signed Marcus Kemp from the practice squad. So I think Chris Conley was like the number 3 guy in their wide receiver core or something. So kind of hits him, not that much, but well, he had like I don't know, 3 or 4 looks every game, so that falls away for Alex Smith. But the way Alex Smith is playing right now, I think he's gonna find someone else.
Yeah, I agree.
Yep. And if nothing else, they got that running back.
Yep. That is correct. Let's see if I missed something. I don't think so. No, that's it.
So that's all the news for the week?
Yep. All the important news. There are some other minor stories, but we only have so much time. We only have 2 hours, so.
I'm sure. Oh, hey, Ren. Turned my back to make a cigarette, turned around reading Ren's in the chat. How you doing? I did want to make one mention. I was going to make a video on this last week, but I just couldn't get around to finding time to make a video last week. I did want to commend some of the teams. You know how every year they do the breast cancer thing. J-Kids even last year, I think it was, dyed his hair pink. That was a sight.
A couple years ago.
Yeah. This year.
You dyed your hair pink.
Yep. I sure did.
Holy crap. You're insane.
But, you know, breast cancer does run in our family, all sorts of cancer. But this last week, I know that at least the Colts did and a few other teams, they widened it to not just breast cancer, but to all kinds of cancer. And I was really glad to see that. I just wanted to make it.
It was a whole league effort. It wasn't just a few teams. It was pretty much every team. It's called NFL Crucial Catch.
Yep.
Intercept cancer.
Yep. And I did want to at least, you know, I'm pretty hard on the NFL sometimes and the stuff going on, and rightly so, but I wanted to give them a thumbs up for that. That was, I think that's a pretty good move on their part.
Agreed.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. Well, let me switch tabs and we'll get into the games last week. And get the chat over that. There we go. Yes, I'm old and slow. Shut up. All right.
Did someone in chat say that?
No, but that would be something that J-Kid would probably comment on. I was just heading him off at the pass.
He don't move very quickly either.
No, not at all.
Yeah, breast cancer may run in your family, but Bloodwing doesn't.
You sure don't.
No. The last time I remember running is when my granddaughter, who's 5 now, and she was probably about 2.5 at the time, was heading for the street, and I jumped off the back. I jumped off the back deck because nobody else seen her and run and caught her. But that was pure adrenaline.
Yeah.
I couldn't do that if I wanted to. All right. Anyway,
I see that. Yeah.
First game up, amazingly enough, was the only one that made me feel really good last week. 49ers 23, Colts 26.
That made you feel really good?
It made me feel really good that they won. The game sucked. I watched it. It was awful. Oh, my God. I could just imagine people all over the country that were getting that in their local market turning the channel because it was terrible. It was a terrible game on both parts.
It should have been a London game.
It was a great game for the kickers.
Yeah, that it was.
Which tells you everything.
The first half was just a field goal fest for Pete's sake. But
6-6.
And another overtime game, which shouldn't have been overtime, by the way, but
it very nearly ended in a tie.
Yeah.
I was rooting for the tie.
And Brissett throws a pick in overtime, and I'm like, oh my God, are you kidding me?
Because 0-15-1 is still better than 0-16.
Still rooting for that for that record.
I have to. It's all we got.
Is that the only thing you're watching in every game where 0-5 team is playing?
Is there anything else to watch with an 0-5 team?
Yeah, see them lose some more.
All right. Well, like I said, it was a terrible game, so there's not a whole lot to talk about there other than the Colts barely squeaked one out. Terrible game. All right. Jets 17, Browns 14.
Sad.
Yeah. Another sad game. Which last week, well, you watched the stream later. Last week we were talking about, God, some of these matchups, man. This is terrible.
Yeah, Mining and I was talking about it before stream. On paper, they look bad, but the way this year is going for the NFL, any game could be a good game.
Yep. I mean, look at the Jags, for Pete's sake. They've had a couple of good games in there.
Yeah, and we'll talk about them.
Yep.
The Browns had a chance in this one. And they did what Browns do. Found a way to lose.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Didn't Kaiser go out early in that one? Or am
if he did, that explains why they had a chance to win.
He did. Kevin Hogan came in, and from now on, Kevin Hogan is the starter for the Browns.
Yes, they will win one.
They won't.
They finally wised up. Like we said, Mining, J-Kid and I are Notre Dame fans, so we've seen Kaiser play. We knew what he was really like.
But have you seen Hogan play?
I think I have, but I can't recall when.
The thing is, Kaiser may be bad from your experience and everything, but you have no guarantee that Hogan is any better.
He can't be worse.
Yeah, but he can be just as bad.
See you, Shaggy.
But the chances of that being the case are slim to none.
Well, we'll see. I mean, in this game, he was pretty damn good. 16 of 19 for 194 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. Quarterback rating of 122.
Which is amazing for a Browns quarterback.
Yeah, so that's not what a Browns quarterback does.
So he had 2 touchdowns. That means the Browns had no score when Kaiser went out and he came in. So, hey.
Yep.
That is correct.
All right, next up on the platter, Jaguars 30, Steelers 9. Oh, my. We should have a few things to say about this game.
We should have a jingle.
Yes, we should have a jingle. Don't we have a jingle, Monty?
I didn't test it before the stream, so it might not work. I'd try, though. Let's see. No, it doesn't work. Damn it. I'm sorry. I can make it work. Give me a second.
Yes, folks, we are professional around here.
And now, the Jay Cutler Award for Worst Quarterback Play of the Week.
Yes.
There we go. And I'm pretty sure we could all agree that this title of Week 5 belongs to none other than Ben Roethlisberger.
Without a doubt.
5 picks. He never did that in his whole career. It's not like he's the youngest guy out there. He's in the league for 13, 14 seasons or so. He's never done that. The worst he did was 4 picks. He throws 5, and 2 of them are pick sixes.
Against the Jags.
Well, the Jags have a pretty good defense from what we saw this season.
I know, but the first time he decides to do that in his career has to be against the Jags.
Okay, yeah. With, his complete
no matter how well they're playing now, there's still that stigma because it's the Jags.
Right.
Yeah, I see that. But his whole stats, 33 of 55 for 312 yards, no touchdown, 5 picks.
Yeah, I think this is, if no other, this is one week we are in complete agreement with your pick for the Jay Cutler Award.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was sad. I mean, it was really bad.
And that was the game that was on German television. I saw it happening.
And the worst part, what made it even worse, that was at Heinz Field. That was in Pittsburgh.
Yep. It was a home game.
They're historically tough to beat at home. Not for the Jags, apparently. Well, not for Roethlisberger, apparently.
Yeah.
I
don't think any of us would have been so much surprised had it happened on the road. It's the fact that it happened at home.
Yep.
Yeah, I want to look something up really fast. Steelers at home lost and sort by points differential. Was that the worst loss ever since? Oh no, they had a loss by 24 in 2006 against the Ravens at home.
But just the fact that it's up there.
It's the second highest loss the Steelers had since Ben Roethlisberger is their quarterback. which is like 2004, right? That
Don't
was the
ask
year
me
he
to
was
do
drafted.
math.
Somewhere around there.
Don't ask me to do math.
I think he was part of the 2004 draft class.
There's two things I don't do well: run and do math. Don't.
Yeah, he was the 11th pick in 2004, so I was remembering that correctly. Okay. So yeah, ever since 2004, that's the second highest home loss for the Steelers. That tells you everything you need to know.
Right.
They only lost overall before that game 6 games at home in double digits in what is it now, 13 years?
Yep.
And they lost that one by 21.
Was not a good day.
No. No. And
in that 24-point loss against the Ravens in 2006, they at least scored a touchdown.
And like we were talking about before the stream started, those picks were awful. You know, it wasn't like every quarterback gets that crazy pick where the defensive player is just playing balls to the wall and there's nothing you could do about it, or a pass that was juggled by the receiver that ends up in the hands of the defender. Every quarterback gets that. This isn't that.
Yeah, I remember we're going to talk about that, the Packers-Cowboys game. Dak Prescott threw a pick 6 there, but come on, the defender let the ball slip through his hands. It was catchable and everything. That was bad luck. But the picks that Ben Roethlisberger threw, shit, that was awful. And he said after the game, maybe I don't have it anymore.
Do you think?
I mean, I think my personal theory is that he's with the Steelers, let's say. He doesn't like Tomlin, the players around him. He doesn't like Bell. He doesn't like Brown. He's more of a down to earth guy, and I don't want to call Bell and Brown divas, but they're
Divas.
not easy to work with. They kind of are divas. So, and he's not willing to deal with that really. So I think he's. I mean, you don't say that. You don't say this whole maybe I don't have it anymore. Maybe all of this if you don't mean it. And maybe that was his way. you know when someone, I'm pretty sure you've seen it in movies. Maybe you had it happen to yourself. When someone breaks up with you, and they're like saying, "Oh, it's not your fault, it's mine." That is what Roethlisberger was saying there. He was basically breaking up with the Steelers.
Interesting take.
Yeah, it could be. I don't know. Or he's just getting old and losing it.
I mean, he's been looking old for the last 5 years or so.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's the problem. And his play style has always like you always knew he's gonna be the guy who could play if he's gonna stay consistent with his arm and everything. He could play until he's 40 because he doesn't run the ball a lot anyway.
No.
The wheels that some other guys have, like the young guys, Jameis Winston, Aaron Rodgers, Dak Prescott. He never had those wheels, and he doesn't need them. So he's suited for age, let's say. Mm-hmm. He's prepared for age. But I don't think he really doesn't have it anymore. I don't think that's the case. I think it was his worst game ever, because maybe it's the circumstances that led to that. Maybe it's that he doesn't have the chemistry with Brown. He doesn't have the chemistry with Bell. He doesn't have the chemistry with Tomlin. I just think it doesn't work anymore, and he's the kind of guy that doesn't want to put up with it anymore. I think that's more the case. I think he's still a good quarterback. That one game was very, very bad. probably the worst of his career. At least the most interceptions he ever threw in a game.
I'm sure it has to be his worst performance at home.
Oh yeah,
like we've already alluded to, that's the big shocker in this story. Is this happened at Heinz Field?
Yeah.
And having watched a few Steeler games, and I did not see this game, but I can imagine how the fans were reacting. I imagine the terrible towel probably wasn't waving too much.
I'm telling you right now, what's that guy's name? Marquise Gray, who is, from what I see, the backup quarterback for the Dolphins, or the third string quarterback or something. I don't know what he is, or maybe he's the punter or something. This week he had one pass attempt. It was an incompletion, and he still got a better quarterback rating than Ben Roethlisberger. Oh, he's a tight end. Why does the tight end throw the ball?
Trick play.
Well,
probably.
Just back to my Colts games for a minute. Why does a punt returner throw the ball? So
what happened there? I didn't see that.
There was a punt. The returner caught the ball and passed it across the field to another person that was waiting there. It totally failed. They ended up
Was it a forward pass?
No.
That is. I mean, that's the old Music City Miracle thing.
Yeah, it was not forward.
That worked out.
It was a lateral. It was a long lateral, but it was a lateral. But it ended up losing them yards. It was terrible. It was one of those I almost threw my computer at the TV screen moments.
Oh yeah, I see. For -8 yards and then a fumble.
But yeah.
Oh, then he recovered. Oh god, yeah.
If I could just take a second to backtrack here.
Yep.
For one real quick second. He made mention of Marquise Gray.
Yep.
Ben Davis boy.
Yep. Of course, Minding doesn't know what that means. That's the local high school that Jay Kidd and I both went to.
Okay. Cool.
Of course, I'm probably making it easier for some moron to dox me if they have a mind to, but my face is already out there, so what the heck.
I just had to put that little plug in there.
All right. So, are we done beating up on old Benny Boy for the day?
For this week.
For this week? Yeah. Next up, Corey, I'm sorry, but Chargers 27, Giants 22.
That's the old man's.
Yeah. It was another game, just like the last 2 or 3, where they had a chance. They were in the game enough that they could have come away with the win, and I mean, what can you say?
I mean, for me, the most interesting situation of that game, I saw apart from that awful injury to Odell Beckham, was the safety where Phillip Rivers tossed the ball back in the end zone.
Mm-hmm.
My first thought, it was very interesting to me from a rules point of view. The first thing I was thinking wasn't that an illegal bat? I mean, you can't bat the ball in the end zone. That's not allowed. And then I was looking into the rule book and I was seeing, it actually only is for bats and punches, and he didn't do that. He tossed the ball.
Yep.
So he got a short, I don't know, 1/10 of a second possession of the ball, and then he tossed it with both hands. Which I think was very clever on Phillip Rivers' part. Instead of trying to fall on the ball and maybe it pops out and then it's a touchdown, he just takes the ball, tosses it out, and it's a safety. It's 2 points. Okay, so what? It's early in the game. Who cares?
Yeah, I'd have to agree. And I had the same reaction when I seen the replay of that. I was watching the Colts game at the time, but they did show the replay on the channel I was watching. I was like, isn't that illegal?
Yeah, it's not. Only the rule specifically says only if you bat or punch the ball. He didn't do that. He tossed it. He gained control for like 1 or 2/10 of a second, which is enough, and then tossed it backwards. That's just a lateral in the end zone, which is legal. I was amazed by that. Like having that presence, that rule knowledge, basically. I think he did that intentionally. The easier way would have just to bat the ball away. But he didn't do that.
Yeah.
So Phillip Rivers, we can talk about his quarterback play all we want, but he's a clever guy.
And that happened very early on in the game, didn't it?
Yeah, 8 minutes 53 left in the first.
Yeah, very early on. And I remember Corey tweeting me as soon as it happened, and it was like, okay, well, maybe there's hope. But
no, there's no hope with the Giants.
Yeah.
Nope.
But
we need a warmer.
Yeah. So yeah, but they, of course, it was the Chargers for Pete's sake. But they had a chance through the whole game. They never ran away with it until the Giants just crapped the bed at the end.
This was a game of two teams that don't want to win a game this year, and unfortunately, somebody had to win that game.
Yeah. I don't want it. You take it.
Yep.
I mean, there could have been a tie if the Giants allow a safety on their second last drive, I think it was. Yeah, their second last drive. If they allow a safety there, it's a tied game.
I don't know. My poor Giants are at this point, seriously, they should just tank the season and go for the
like
pick
they're not already.
Yeah, and go. Yeah, but there's a couple of other teams
that was rude.
There's a couple of other teams in contention for that spot, so they just as well tank the season and go for the pick next year. I mean, I don't know what else to say. Even my Colts have got a better chance at it than they do, and they've got next to no chance this year.
So, Bloodwing, what you're saying is 0-16?
Might be. I'd hate to see the Giants have that ignominious record, but
Yeah, me too.
I mean, it would be a great connection here of father and son, like both rooting for a team that went 0-16 once.
Screw that. That's mine.
The only thing he has to hang his hat on.
And it's slipping away.
Well, not after this season. About time.
All right. Okay, enough of that sadness. Next up, Bills 16, Bengals 20.
Yeah, that was unexpected.
Was it?
Yeah, not for you. You picked the Bengals, I know. But for me, it was unexpected. And for Bloodwing, it was too.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Bengals after all.
Yeah, but it's also the Bills.
Yeah, but the Bills played pretty good so far. Apart from that game.
I'm not surprised at all. Bengals look like they may be on the bounce back after a terrible start to the season. Bills are going to stay in mediocrity.
Maybe. I mean, the Bengals do need to bounce back. I mean, they're 2-3 now, which looks a bit better. I feel like they're gonna maybe finish this season 8-8.
And they still have a shot at that division. As sad as that
with
is.
the Steelers being the way they are, let's say.
Yeah.
The Cleveland Browns being the Cleveland Browns as always.
And that's
and
pretty.
The Ravens also being kind of.
And that's pretty sad because that puts them in the same boat as the AFC South because we still got a shot, a long shot, but it's a shot.
No. The Colts. No, the Colts don't have a shot. Sorry to interrupt you there. The Colts don't have a shot. Whatever. I mean, even if they, even if the best team in that division goes 7-9, the Colts will be worse.
I'm not going to argue with you. Unfortunately. Yeah, I was a little surprised. I thought the Bills would come out a little stronger than they did. They have played well, although that division, speaking of divisions, is not as strong this year as it has been in the past, at least with the Patriots being in it. Yeah.
I mean, you have your 3 teams at 3-2 now with the Bills, Jets, and Patriots. Fucked up reason, you have the Dolphins who are 2-2. How again did that happen?
Yeah. It's a crazy year.
So, no team with a negative record at this point. It's amazing. But you have a lot of teams with a slightly positive record, like 3-2. You have the Dolphins at 2-2. Teams with the Bengals, the Texans, the Titans, the Colts, the whole AFC South, and the Raiders. And then you have 2 teams that are like 5-0, and the Broncos 3-1, who had their bye week.
Right.
And that's the AFC right now. There's so many things that could happen. The only thing that couldn't happen is that the Colts get into the playoffs.
Playoffs?
Yeah. Exactly.
Wow.
Nice setup, thanks.
You're welcome.
Anyway, next up, Panthers 27, Lions 24. This one's you, Jake Kid.
Yeah. I don't know why they always gotta wait so long. Like they're getting beat, and then they have to wait until like that 10-minute mark in the fourth quarter, and they start making their comeback, and then always come up short. Well, not always, but a lot of the times come up short. And when you have to rely on the Detroit defense to get a stop, you're in sad shape. Because I don't know if they've noticed yet, but Detroit doesn't have a defense.
It's just to give something for the Lions fans to keep some interest. Oh, we almost got it. Dadgummit.
Yeah, all 2 of us. Me and Detroit.
I mean, from what I'm seeing here, the rushing defense wasn't that bad. The passing defense was.
It's just non-existent. It hasn't been all season.
From what I see, the Lions secondary couldn't catch a flu if they wanted to.
Nope. And we're riding on Stafford, and I hate that. That's not the guy you can rely on.
Yeah, Stafford wasn't that great either in that game. I mean, the whole offense wasn't that good.
I mean, good enough, I guess, to put up 23 points, but
24.
It's not going to be good enough.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, what I love to do when I didn't watch a game is I look at the expected points, which tells you pass offense, rushing offense, how good have they been, for example, with converting third downs. That's playing a big role in there. Running the ball, getting good positive yardage on the first plays. Turnovers are accounted for, and all of that. And that is all included. And the final result is always the actual score difference in the end. So the Panthers have expected points total of 3 and the Lions -3, obviously. And this is all accounted for. And the worst thing I see here is the Lions pass defense. -22 points. So they basically lost you 22 of the 27 points the Panthers scored.
Yeah. No defense.
No pass defense. The rush defense scored plus 16. And if you look at the statistics, you held Amir Abdullah to 31 yards on 10 rushes. Like, the rush was non-existent pretty much for both teams. Sorry, no, Amir Abdullah's Jonathan Stewart, 18 rushes, 21 yards. He didn't even get much more than 1 yard per rush.
No. Which they've been pretty much doing all season.
7. Cam Newton, 7 rushing attempts, no yards. 0. So, rushing was non-existent for both teams here. It was a passing game, and Cam Newton had the better day.
The Panthers showed they don't have a run game in Thursday night, which we'll get to.
All right.
So I'm not surprised that Detroit was able to handle, quote unquote, Carolina's run game. But eventually they're going to have to stop something in the pass.
Yeah, of course, in that number is also included that the other team's rushing offense might not be that good.
Right.
But still, there was no rushing game for both teams there.
Yep.
Passing game for the passing defense for the Lions, however, was...
The Lions haven't had a running game since Barry Sanders.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Okay. Next up, Titans 10, Dolphins 16.
How?
A little surprising.
Yeah, I was surprised at this one. As we talked about pre-stream and J-Kid's head was exploding, Mariota's play recently has been kind of bad.
Yeah, but he didn't play this last week.
Yeah,
he didn't play. Matt Castle was the...
Yeah. But I still was surprised. I mean, we're talking about the Dolphins.
Yeah. That amazed me too. I'm looking, like, all I have is the statistics at this point. I didn't watch the game. You couldn't ask me to, please. It was 16-10. I don't want to watch that. I don't want to watch the Dolphins. Ajayi ran the ball just one time less than Jay Cutler threw it. 25 rushing attempts for Ajayi. He only got 77 yards. Yeah, he is their offense, but he was held to 77 yards. So just a tad bit more than 3 yards per attempt, which is not what you want to see as a coach. For at least 4 yards per attempt, because that tells you can get a first down by running. 3 yards keeps you at 4th and 1. So actually a pretty good job from the Titans here, but somehow not enough. And I mean, I don't understand it. How the Dolphins can win this.
You don't have to be good. You just have to be better than your opponent that day. And that was the case this week with the Dolphins and the Titans.
It seems so, yeah. It seems so.
Okay. Next up, Cardinals 7, Eagles 34. And while you two are discussing that just a little bit, I'm going to run real quick and refresh my coffee. I'm on a caffeine kick today.
Run real quick.
All right.
I'm going to hobble as fast as I can, okay?
Yeah. You'd move quicker if you just roll your chair in there.
All right, Cardinals, Eagles. What was Carson Wentz doing there in that first quarter?
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, he played lights out, and then he basically took a back seat. Was like, after that first quarter, all right, I did my job. You go ahead, do the rest. And then Jake Elliott kicked the field goal. Then he threw a 72-yard pass to Nelson Aguilar that bomb, and then have you seen that touchdown?
Yeah, I have.
By Aguilar.
Yep.
Oh, that move.
The whole series of moves.
His opponent. Yeah, there was more than one, but wow, that. I mean, he smoked his opponent.
You talk about putting a DB on skates, and that's exactly what Nelson Aguilar did to that DB.
Yeah, and then the flop into the end zone. That was that was the perfect end to a pretty perfect play from Aguilar's part, and Wentz as well. And
what surprised me about this game is Arizona typically plays to their opponent. If it's a bad team, they don't play that well. If it's a good team, they play better. This week, not the case. They played terrible.
Yep.
Against what could be the best team in the NFC.
Yeah, their pass defense again was non-existent. Their pass defense gave up 24 expected points. The Lions did, so you understand how bad the Cardinals were.
Exactly. Yep.
They had no answer to Carson Wentz and his passing offense.
I mean, I don't know what else to say. Eagles are looking strong.
Yeah, this game, I feel like, was decided.
Yeah, I agree.
After that, it was just, we do have 45 minutes more to play. We're sorry, but we have to. We don't want to, but okay, let's get it over with.
Yeah, that final score looks more like a high school score than.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with Daytwa there. Palmer appears to no longer be interested in playing football. He's on a bad team. They're not doing anything, and he's getting up there in age. I think that might be the case.
Yeah, everyone's talking about how the window for the Cardinals is closing. No,
it's already closed.
It has closed. It is. Yeah. It is fully closed. It's over.
And I have to say that it's probably a matter of personnel for the most part, because Bruce Arians can coach. We know that.
Yeah, he can.
But with the shape the Cardinals are in this year, I can't help but think that it's mostly on the personnel that they have.
Yeah, I feel like they should rebuild. They're pretty old at this point, and get a new quarterback, get a new number one wide receiver. Larry Fitzgerald is good and all, but he's old too. Maybe Sanders had a great idea on the NFL Network. He was suggesting that the Cardinals should trade Patrick Peterson to the Packers.
Okay, that's a terrible idea for more than one reason.
Yeah, for you as a Lions fan, it is.
Yes. And for the Cardinals, why would you trade your best defensive player?
To get picks, to rebuild. I mean, you can't trade someone like Larry Fitzgerald because that guy's old. You don't get a lot for him. So you trade your best player, one of your best players, and get a good few picks in return and rebuild.
You don't dismantle that defense, who is on a rough stretch, but are typically pretty stout. You don't dismantle the defense to try to balance out an offense. You keep that defense and slowly build that offense.
Yeah, it's a lesson we learned the hard way as Colts fans years ago when they traded off Ray Buchanan in a terrible trade. But
I mean, I don't care about the Cardinals. Like if they want to shop Patrick Peters into the Packers, hey, I'm fine with that.
Sure. We see how it is now, Minding. It's all about you.
Yep, it is, obviously. But I like that idea. I was thinking, for Peterson it would be great because he's playing with a contender then, which the Cardinals are not. For the Cardinals, they would get probably a lot of picks, like a lot, and good picks. And well, for the Packers, obviously, it would fix their last problem, which is the pass defense. I mean, you don't need, for the Packers, you don't need to fix anything on offense.
Really?
Back in the game, quite frankly. You found finally a running back who can run the ball now with Aaron Jones. We got to that. And so that offense. But anyway, we're talking too much about that. Let's go on.
J-Kid's holding in a laugh. I know that sound. He's holding in a laugh big time.
Best quarterback in the league.
I heard that. Well, you want to tell me it's Stafford?
Have you not been paying attention at all this season? Never would I say Stafford is the best quarterback in the league. There could be no other quarterbacks in the league, and I would not say Stafford was the best quarterback in the league.
God, I feel like I'm playing you like a fiddle right now. Because all I wanted from you was to bash your own quarterback again.
It doesn't take much.
No, it doesn't.
No, but it's always fun to hear.
Trust me, all you have to do in his presence is just say Stafford. And off he goes.
But who is the best quarterback in your opinion right now in the league?
Until proven otherwise, it's still Brady.
Brady is the greatest. Brady has the most accomplishments.
He's still the best quarterback in the league.
No, in terms of quarterback play, Aaron Rodgers is the best. He can make any throw that Brady can make and then some.
You're out of your mind.
Cryptic. Stafford is the highest paid quarterback, so he must be good.
Okay. Now we'll move on. Okay. Ravens 30, Raiders 17. I have to admit, I was surprised at this one.
I wasn't.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, you picked the Ravens. Good for you.
It's not necessarily the fact that the Ravens won. I mean, any given team on any given week, but it's the fact that they won by that much and at LA or Oakland, whatever.
Oakland. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
The Raiders were playing EJ Manuel.
Yeah, that's the big problem there.
EJ Manuel didn't make it on the Bills.
True enough.
13 of 26 for 159 and a touchdown. He didn't throw a pick. That's the silver lining for EJ Manuel at the Raiders. But
that's the surprising part of the game.
Silver lining. Yeah. Are you 50% completion rate? No.
Is there any word on when Carr might be back?
From what I heard, he's going to play so this week.
Yeah, that's what I've heard too.
He's going to be back, but I'm just from what I heard. It's not sure. It's just what I heard. I'm going to look it up. Let me see. Yes, he will start against the Chargers this week. Injury report after a full practice on Friday. He won't be 100%, playing through a transverse fracture, whatever that is, something in the back. But the Raiders saw enough to clear him after missing just 1 week.
Yeah, he may not be effective, but even a less than 100% Carr is better than EJ Manuel.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Stafford is better than EJ Manuel.
Nah, I wouldn't go that far.
Okay,
let's at least call it close, okay?
Next on the list we have Seahawks 16, Rams 10.
That to me was an interesting game.
I gotta say, my takeaway from this is not necessarily the score and who won, but I'm impressed that the Rams are hanging in there.
And they had a shot of winning it.
Yeah.
Jared Goff with let's see, 17 seconds left, had a 2nd and 10 at the Seahawks 20. So he was on the red zone, in the red zone, right at the edge of the red zone. and he threw 3 passes into the end zone, all incomplete to Gurley, Cup, and Cup again. If one of those connects, Rams win it. Down to the wire.
Yeah. You're roboting a little bit there, Minding. We lost you for a little bit, but I got the sense of what you're saying.
Okay, I'm going to refresh.
Jared Goff is Stafford of the future. I would not curse that kid yet, Cryptic.
Yeah, no, but I got to say, I'm not ready to jump on the Rams bandwagon and say, oh, they're the team of the future, but I am impressed with their play this year. I'll give them credit.
That defense looks good. No, not at the moment.
No, you sound good.
All right.
That defense looked good. Jared's not going to cost them a game. As long as they can stay in it, they're going to have a shot to win it. They may have a shot at that division. Nobody in that division is impressive.
Well, 2 of those 4 teams are much less than impressive.
Yeah.
They're like way down the order with the Cardinals and the 49ers.
And Seattle doesn't look like the Seattle of 3 years ago.
No.
Yep.
Rams could have a shot. They might even make the playoffs.
Yep. Playoffs? No, they really do. From what I see right now, they're one of the teams with the highest points scored in the league. I think the 3rd highest. Only the Eagles, the 5-1 Eagles, and the Eagles have one more game already, and the Chiefs scored. So let's exclude the Eagles because they already played week 6, so they're the 2nd highest scoring team. That offense is blazing.
I mean, they've. I don't want to say it's the move because I'm sure there's a lot of factors from St. Louis to LA because I would have thought that would happen the other way around. But they're sure not looking like the same Rams they were last year when they were still played in Missouri.
Yeah, I mean, I think the what changed is something different that helped Jared Goff especially a lot. It's the change to Sean McVay as head coach. I mean, he was playing 13 games under Jeff Fisher.
Yeah.
I don't have to say anymore. And then the last 3 games under John Fassel, who was the special teams coordinator up to that point. Special teams. Okay. And now with Sean McVay, he's got an offensive-minded head coach, young head coach, and I think between those two, it's really clicking.
Yeah, and the team, the people that play for McVay, they seem really high on him. They like him.
Yep.
Okay. Next up, Packers 35, Cowboys 31.
Oh, sweet, sweet victory. I was thinking an awful lot about whether I should pull a Stephen A. Smith or not.
How so?
I feel like I'm not how can I say that? Black enough to do it. I don't care. I'm gonna do it anyway. Aaron Rodgers is a bad man. Oh man, that last drive. I was so happy.
Figured you would be. I'm not surprised at the ultimate outcome that the Packers won. little bit of a surprise that both teams scored, so that there was so much scoring. But
Have you seen those defenses?
Yeah,
they're terrible.
I have. Yeah,
Yeah.
I realize that. I realize that. But
Okay.
I don't know. But I'm not surprised at the ending. I think probably everybody figured the Packers would win, even though it was at home for the Cowboys.
I mean, at this point, is it really the home of the Cowboys or is it the home of Aaron Rodgers? Won a Super Bowl there. He beat the Cowboys last season there. He beat them this season there.
It's jury world, don't you know?
World.
I didn't see the
someone
game.
on Wikipedia. Someone on Wikipedia was funny enough to change the Dallas Cowboys ownership from Jerry Jones to Aaron Rodgers, just for a few seconds or minutes, but funny enough. And I feel like the Packers have a can I call it an emerging star? Maybe it's too early for that, but we've got a very good running back with Aaron Jones. I mean, 19 attempts, 125 yards, and a touchdown. That's impressive. He scored more, or he ran for more yards than Ezekiel Elliott on 10 rushes less.
Yeah, I mean, in today's NFL, with running back by committee being the thing, anytime you can get a running back over 100 yards in a game, it's impressive. What'd you start to say, Jay Kidd?
Did Dallas go into prevent on the last drive? I didn't get to see the game.
No, they didn't. No, they didn't. They didn't. They played cover two for the most part.
How in the world do you give up those big of plays not playing prevent? I know their defense is bad.
Aaron Rodgers, that's it.
But you basically handed them the game after you took it from them, just to turn around and hand it right back to them.
Yeah, kind of. the first pass, the pass to Davante Adams for 14 yards was a back shoulder fade. For 14. The one to Bennett, I don't really remember. Then it was incomplete to Adams. Then the 15-yard run went out of bounds. It was the I don't want to say the greatness of Aaron Rodgers, but it kind of was. He read that defense. He saw it was a covered two. There was no one underneath covering. So he thought, all right, this is going to be a run. And run to the right, 15 yards out of bounds, clock stopped. And then he was at the 30. Then he ran for 18 yards, which is this is what Aaron Rodgers does. On 3rd and 8, you think you got him, and he slips away to the left, makes 2 defenders miss, and then runs for 18 and out of bounds. The first incomplete pass to Davante Adams on that last series was also a back shoulder fade, but it was not perfectly thrown. That's why Jordan Lewis was able to defend it. And Davante Adams, he said in an interview later, he said he came right back in the huddle and gave Aaron Rodgers a look that clearly said, "Throw it to me again, this time better." And Aaron Rodgers threw it better, and it was complete and was a touchdown with 11 seconds left.
Yeah, I'm not at all surprised by how it played out. I mean, you left them a minute 13, but you left them too much time.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. That's what the Cowboys in the end were saying. We left him too much time. But what should you do? I mean, you are able on 3rd and 2. In this case, Dak Prescott ran an option play. Took the ball away then to Elliott. Then went to the left. untouched, basically. I think he was untouched. Had a free lane, an open lane to the end zone. What should he do? Slide at the 2 or 3? You're not guaranteed a touchdown in the NFL.
No. I'm not saying it's their fault. That's just what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay.
I think they did what they should. You take the lead. I mean, you got it in minute 13. Hopefully you can stop them, but it's still too much time.
It's Aaron Rodgers. That's what it comes down to.
All right. Next up, Chiefs 42, Texans 34. That's a pretty high scoring for two teams known for their defenses.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, Houston's defense took a huge hit.
Yeah, with JJ?
Yep.
Yeah, that's tough.
And Deshaun's looked good all season. And I think the doubters have to give him some props against a very good Chiefs defense.
Mm-hmm.
He played really well.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I must say this stat line is looking weird, though. His completion was barely over 50%, 16 of 31.
Right.
But for 261 yards and 5 touchdowns.
Yep.
But if he connects with his receivers every third time, it's a touchdown.
Yeah. Like they say, it's not always about quantity; it's quality.
I mean, I tried to watch the game, but it was late. I mean, Sunday night. What do you expect from me? It's like the game started like 2:30 a.m. on a Monday for me. I watched most of it, not all of it, but it was a damn entertaining game, I tell you.
Which we knew it would be.
Yeah, even I am on my way to bed at that time of the morning.
Yeah, and it ended about like 5:30, 6 a.m. or so.
Yeah, and as I recall, last week when we were talking about it, we said that this, along with one other, was up there for probably game of the week.
Yeah, and it was.
All right. So that brings us to the Monday night game. Vikings 20, Bears 17.
I mean,
do we even have anything to talk about here?
Trubisky
played.
Yeah, Trubisky played. Did you see the game?
Did I see it? No, I didn't see it. I don't have cable.
Okay.
So I don't get to see the Monday night games.
Yeah, in Germany it's a bit different, which is great. I see the night games, Red Zone, and three games single on stream if I want to, and 2 games on national TV. Early 1 p.m. and a late 4:05, 4:25.
Right.
But I tried to watch that, but it was it was not a good game. I mean, Sam Bradford was taken out of the game pretty much, I think, at the end of the first half or so, or just before, somewhere in between there. I think just before the end of the first half.
I did see he was struggling.
Not because he was struggling, because he was actually injured.
That's what I meant.
He
was hobbled.
He was limp. He was he was limping, something with his knee from what I heard, and he's out for week 6.
It sounds like they rushed him back too quickly.
It seems so, yeah. It seems so. I must say I don't like that he's not playing against the Packers, because I mean, obviously you always want to play best your opponent has. It makes the Packers win now much more probable, But I'd rather have an entertaining game. The Packers win just like last week. But yeah, Sam Bradford this season really, I don't know. Maybe Teddy Bridgewater can come back soon. They do have him up their sleeves, so maybe he's gonna come back soon. I heard some rumors there that he might be not for this week, obviously, but maybe in this season.
The latest I had heard was they're looking at just after midway for Bridgewater. So hopefully for them.
So Bridgewater will be back week 9 or what? So midway, week 8,
Yep,
week
there
9.
we go.
Okay. Yeah, Teddy Bridgewater will be reevaluated in 2 days, next Monday. On Monday. And the Vikings will then decide if he can come off the physically unable to perform list. And I feel like that's going to be interesting to watch. Maybe Teddy Bridgewater can come back.
I hope so. He's fun to watch.
He is.
He is. And they don't have to rely on Case Keenum anymore.
Right.
I mean, and I must say, since we've been talking about Mitch Trubisky a little at the beginning of this game, I didn't like his play really. I mean, he showed some potential, but he didn't play all too well.
No, it was his first actual NFL game.
Yeah, of course. But there have been better debuts in the NFL. Let's just say that. Most of them probably under center. 12 of 25, 128 yards, a touchdown, and a pick.
I mean, keep in mind not only is it his first game, but he plays for the Bears, so he's got kind of two negatives there against him to make his debut.
That is correct. Yeah, I don't at this point I don't really want to know what Jay Cutler's first game for the Bears looked like. It wasn't his debut in the NFL. He was with, I think he was drafted by the Broncos, right?
Yeah, he played for the Broncos first.
He definitely played for the Broncos before he went to the Bears. But I imagine his first game for the Bears was even worse because, let's face it, it's Jay Cutler.
Right. They were made for each other.
Oh yeah, just like Jay Cutler and the Dolphins.
All right, so that brings us up to the Thursday night game. Eagles 28, Panthers 23.
Guess who called it? I said the Eagles are going to win. You said they wouldn't.
And they shouldn't.
No, they shouldn't have.
They led by 12 up until 8 minutes. Okay, 8 minutes. Okay, no. But they no. I mean, Cam Newton plays, which is bad. And Carson
we
Wentz
talked about bad picks
Carson
with Ben
Wentz
Roethlisberger. We talked about Ben's bad picks. Maybe Cam should have asked a female about routes.
Wow.
Nice. I like it.
The picks he threw in that game were awful.
Okay, somebody out there chat.
Take it. I take my hat off to you. I don't wear one, but my virtual hat I take off to you, sir.
Somebody out there chat's got to make a meme of that and post it on Twitter. Come on, that's your assignment for the day.
Oh yeah, please. Please. Wow.
Wow.
That was savage, man.
But oh so true.
Yeah.
It was, yeah. I mean, I was amazed. The picks that Cam Newton threw, to me, they kind of looked like they were in slow motion. The ball was hanging in the air for so long.
Yep.
and there was no receiver around it for like, I don't know, 10 yards away. There was no receiver.
One of them, he had Funchess. Funchess had beat his DB, and the throw was just not even close.
Yeah.
Well, whenever you hang a ball like that, even if it's on target, is still one of the most dangerous balls to be picked. Because it just gives too much time for everybody to react.
When I said it wasn't close, like Funchess was running up the sideline and Cam threw it midfield.
Yeah.
It wasn't even that the ball hung. The throw was not even close.
Yeah, but I'm watching. I'm taking a look at Cam Newton's split statistics right now. He's really bad at night games.
And then he went back to the huddle afterwards. He went back to the huddle afterwards and said, "But that reporter gal said that was the route."
Yeah.
Good grief.
He has a quarterback rating of under 80 in night games. In early or afternoon games, he's got 87 and 89. And he's got a 78 quarterback rating in the late games, in the night games. I mean, Cam Newton is not a night player.
I can see there being a difference because you're dealing with the lights. But still, that would seem to be more of an effect on your receivers than it would on the quarterback. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I have this picture in my mind right now from the Packers-Cowboys game, and Aaron Rodgers on his last drive was playing into the sun and looking into the sun, and he had to hold, like, right before the snap. He had to hold one hand above his eyes just so he wasn't what's the word?
Blinded.
Thank you. Blinded by the sun that was shining through the window of the stadium. So I see the lights being a factor for the quarterback. If they blind you in any way, or if they, I see that being a thing. For the receivers, obviously as well, but for the quarterback, yeah, that could put you into some trouble.
Well, the sun, yes.
Still not a justification for those bad pigs.
Yeah, there is no justification.
Yeah.
No, really not. But his completion percentage in night games drops by 3 percentage points. And well, his touchdowns don't drop that much. His interceptions spike. He's throwing about, I mean, pretty much less than one average per game in the early and afternoon games, in the late game, in the night games. 1 pick per game, 15 picks in 15 games. So,
one other thing I want to hit on in this game, we talked about the Carolina run game earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I read something yesterday, I think it was, that they averaged like 2.7 inches per rush in that game Thursday night.
If you take let's say they ran, let's exclude Cam Newton's runs because he ran the ball 11 times for 71 yards and a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
But if we exclude that, take Stewart, who ran the ball 8 times, McCaffrey 4, 1. Let's take those 3. Curtis Samuel ran the ball once too, but that was on an end around. Let's take the running back runs. We had 13 runs for 1 yard.
1 yard.
1 yard. That's. Wait. How many inches is that then? 1/13 of a yard. 36. So yeah, 2.7 is pretty close. Yeah, 2.7 inches per. See,
such is the state of the Carolina run game.
Hey,
2.8.
Even-
2.8.
even I could get that because all I'd have to do is just fall forward.
You would think they'd be able to get that too, but it still took them 13 carries.
Yeah.
Man.
It's like going for the quarterback sneak 13 times
Yeah.
with the defense expecting it times.
It
So
doesn't
you get
make
no
much
gain
sense.
12 times and then 1 yard the other time. Was
Goodness.
It's a,
0.8
that's a
inches.
complete lack of a run game for the Carolina offense.
Apart from Cam Newton, like I said, he ran the ball
Right.
11 times for 71 yards. I mean, he's their best running back again. Like, he was last season, I think. He was in a few games. He was their best running back.
Well, a running quarterback is going to get their yards. That's actually a very difficult thing to defend.
Yeah.
So
That
if
is
they
correct,
can
yeah.
run, they're going to get their yards.
That is true. But Cam Newton was the leading rusher of the game.
That's sad.
LeGarrette Blount got 4 yards less. That's really sad.
All right.
All right, that's the games that were played. So now it's time to take a look at next week's games, or tomorrow's games and the week following. See what we think.
Let's do it.
First one up, Bears at Ravens.
This is Ravens all the way.
Yeah.
I mean, is there any question?
No. No,
Ravens.
that's probably going to be one of the easier ones to pick this week.
Yeah.
Next one probably is just about as easy. Packers at Vikings.
I don't think it's as easy as the Ravens and Bears for the
Mhm.
simple fact that it's a division game.
Right.
And for the fact that it is at Minnesota.
I mean, I don't
Packers
see
not
any
playing a
way.
ball game there.
I don't see any way Packers lose this game,
Yep.
but it's definitely
I
a
don't
more
either.
difficult pick.
I'm just saying. Yeah. Oh, I think we're all going to take the Packers, right? Packers, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Next up, 49ers at Redskins.
That's way easier than the Ravens pick, the Ravens Bears pick. Way
Yeah,
easier.
I'm thinking the Niners get another loss in that column. Sorry, J-Kid.
Man, I really want the Niners to win this game, but I can't even pick them.
Yeah, Redskins win it. Like probably, I don't know. Like maybe we're gonna see a point differential of 30 plus.
Well, the Redskins haven't looked that good this season. Let's not get carried away.
I'm gonna go with a bold, not a bold prediction.
A bold prediction.
It's not my native tongue. Okay, I'm gonna go with a bold prediction here and say the Redskins are gonna beat the Niners by 30 or more.
I'll hold you to that.
Yeah.
It's a bold prediction. I'm not saying it's very likely, but I think it's gonna be ugly.
Hey, you
It's gonna be ugly fast.
got to step out on a limb every once in a while. All right, next up, Lions at Saints. J-Kid?
I don't even know what to pick in this game. Saints are bad, but Breeze is good.
Yep.
And the Lions have no pass defense, as we covered.
Mm-hmm.
I'm taking the Lions, but I'm not very sure about it.
I'm going to have to go with the Saints simply because of that Lions pass defense.
Well, the Saints don't really have a pass defense either.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, but the Lions have Stafford.
Yeah. No comparing the quarterbacks here, I don't think.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with the Saints as well. For one, yeah, if you compare, like, both teams don't really have that good of a pass defense, if they have any.
Right.
But then again, you got Breeze against Stafford, and Breeze clearly wins that comparison. And second, I don't want to see the Lions go 4-2. They're a 3-3 team. They should be 8-8 at the end of the season, which is where they probably belong. So going 3-3 is the perfect way to go here, and I'm picking the Saints.
Just admit it, Minding. You're afraid of the Lions. You're afraid of them. Come on.
No, I'm not. what should I be afraid of? They got a worse pass defense than we do, and that's telling something. And everywhere else, I feel like we can beat the Lions in every part of the game as well. Like if it's quarterback, we got the better quarterback, we got the better running game, we got the better or rush defense. We even got the better pass defense, but it's like, bad versus worse.
Yeah.
Okay. Next up.
So, not afraid.
Next up, Dolphins at Falcons.
You kidding me?
Is anybody going to pick Jay Cutler? Come on.
I mean,
I'm tempted.
If you think about it, Jay Kidd, Jay Cutler. I
am tempted to take the Dolphins here because Atlanta's not been playing that well.
No, they haven't.
It's the Dolphins. Come on.
I'm taking Atlanta. They just came off their bye, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I'm taking Atlanta.
Okay. Nah, double-digit win for the Falcons.
I'm not sure about the double digits, but yeah, Falcons.
I am.
Okay, next up, Browns at Texans.
Holy crap. Okay, a double-digit win for the home team again.
I couldn't even say that one without laughing.
Texans, easy.
Yeah, with the Texans defense and the way their quarterback's been playing lately, Browns are going down another one. Yep.
It's a squash.
Okay, Patriots at Jets. And that's a more interesting game than one would have thought at the beginning of the year.
Yeah. But
yeah, I understand the
I mean, come on. Who did the Jets beat so far? I mean,
jeez.
They beat the Browns. Oh, wow. That's a big one. They beat the Dolphins. Ooh, I'm scared. And they beat the Jaguars in overtime. Okay, they got a good defense. Okay, I see that, but the defense wasn't that good in that game. Mm-hmm. The Jets played at home, and the Jaguars' offense is just.
I think you missed.
At least in this game, they were straight up shit.
I think you misunderstand what I mean by interesting. I'm not saying that the Jets are all that great, but considering the condition of the AFC East right now, as far as there's 3 teams still in contention, it has more implication to who wins.
Okay.
Than you would have thought. Going into the season, looking at that, you're thinking, well, it's going to be the number 1 seed against the number 4.
Yeah. Pretty much, yeah. But now it's the number. I think the number 2 against the number 3 at this point.
Yep.
At least with the Bills, I think being the one.
But
yeah, I'm gonna pick the Patriots easily. Come on.
I'm gonna pick the Pats. Much as I hate to, because I really hate them.
Me too. But
yeah, this is the bounce back for New England.
Yep.
After very poor showings against Carolina and Tampa Bay.
Yep.
All right. Next, Buccaneers at Cardinals.
Ooh. First game of Adrian Peterson in Arizona.
Whew, that's the only interesting thing about this game. Bucks win. It's not even close.
Yeah. I'm picking the Bucks the way the Cardinals have been playing this year. Yeah.
Only because both of you picked the Buccaneers, and I want to keep it interesting because we pretty much picked the same team every game apart from the Saints-Lions. I'm going to go with the Cardinals in this one.
You contrarian, you. Okay, next up, Rams at Jaguars. Another game that's more interesting than what one would have thought.
Oh, yeah.
Who would have ever thought this? A defensive struggle.
Yep. With these two teams.
Yeah. And I honestly have no idea who to pick here.
Yeah, I'm. That's why I'm hesitating.
Should I go ahead? I know who to pick here.
You go ahead.
I know
you
who
go
to
ahead.
pick here.
If you got your pick, you go.
Jaguars. I feel like the Jaguars in the last few games playing. I mean, they played lights out against Ben Roethlisberger, and they had a good few other showings against the Ravens in London, and I feel like that defense is gonna hold Jared Goff. They're gonna contain him pretty well in terms of statistics. Let's say in terms of yards. Not just in terms of keeping him in the pocket, but they're going to hold him down. And the Jaguars' defense is going to decide this one as well. I'm picking the Jaguars.
Who's the home team?
Jaguars.
Jaguars.
And I'm going Rams. Jags not very good. Not very good at home.
No, they're
not. Unless you count their home as London.
London.
They play in Jacksonville. They're not very good.
Yeah, but still.
I mean, I feel like I could flip a quarter here and have just as much chance of being right.
Take the random number generator like I did with the Redskins at the start of the season.
I'm gonna have to go Jaguars on this one. I agree with J-Kid. They are not good in Jacksonville. They are not. But I've got a little more faith in the Rams offense than I do the Jaguars. So
remember, the Rams have to travel all the way over.
Okay, but you got good defense versus good defense, and Jared Goff versus Blake Bortles.
You got good defense versus like maybe number 2 defense in the league right now behind the Broncos.
Only because Roethlisberger.
No, not just because of him. They've got a good few showings in this season already, not just against Roethlisberger.
Who'd you take, old man?
I took the Rams.
All right.
So, okie doke.
This will be one we come back to next week.
Yeah, probably. And it might very well end up to be a very good game. Hard to tell at this point. Chargers at Raiders. I'm going Raiders. Well, I don't know. Is Carr going to do? We discussed that, and I've already forgotten.
Yeah,
Carr's going to be
Carr's playing,
but he's not going to be 100%. I'm going Raiders. I think this could be a comeback for him, and it is the Chargers after all.
Yeah, I see it the same way. I think the Raiders so far have been a bad team, but Carr is coming back. Even though he's not 100%, he's better than Manuel. And they're going to bounce back. And just one thing I want to say for fantasy owners out there, don't lose hope in Amari Cooper. I feel like this is going to be his game.
I'm taking the Chargers here. Carr's coming back. He's going to be hobbled. He's going to take one hit. It's probably going to knock him out of the game. EJ Manuel's going to come back in. Chargers win this game.
Could happen.
Yeah, could happen. How likely is it?
Okay. Next up, Steelers at Chiefs. Interesting.
Not really.
6-0.
You saw how the Steelers played the Jaguars, right?
Yeah. Oh, I'm not saying I don't know who's going to win the game.
And Pittsburgh's worse on the road.
Yes, they are. They absolutely are. Yeah, I think Chiefs had another W to the column.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Next up, oh my goodness, Giants at Broncos.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh,
I love my Giants. I do.
beautiful.
I've loved the Giants ever since way back in the day, and this name probably won't mean anything to you, Minding, but Jake had might remember. When Little Joe, I turned on a game and I saw Little Joe Morris run like 80 yards for a touchdown. And not only did he run 80 yards for a touchdown, but it was with one shoe.
Yeah.
And I love him to death. I do. It's really close on who's my favorite team. But I can't pick them in this. I cannot pick them. I'm sorry, Giants.
6.
Do you know who can pick them?
With that wide receiver core, I mean, what was this guy's name again? Who's the number 1 receiver now? Roger Lewis, I think.
Yeah, I've already forgotten.
Yeah, I still don't know his name. Like,
I'm sure all Giants fans have already forgotten.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Denver could leave their offense at home and win this game.
Yeah,
probably.
I got a feeling that this one is not going to be anywhere near as close as the Chargers game. It's going to be very not pretty.
Yeah.
Okie doke.
Double digits at the very least. Probably more than 2 touchdowns.
By the defense.
And then
I mean, more than 2 touchdowns in differential.
Yeah, I got you.
More than 14 points.
And then we get to add more misery to my plate. Monday night, Colts at Titans.
What a terrible Monday night game.
Oh.
Yeah, that is correct. I must say, I love this week. If only for the fact that I can watch this. I mean, like I said, I can watch the Sunday night and the Monday night easily here on what is called here the Netflix of sports in Germany. That's how they advertise it. And it's a bit. I'm gonna watch both games. After that, next week, I could talk shit about the Colts and the Giants. I love it.
Yeah, I love my Colts, and yes, I'm a homer, but I'm also not incredibly stupid. Not that stupid, anyway. I'm thinking the score is probably going to be something like Colts 10, Titans 35.
Ooh, wait a minute.
I don't think it's going to be that high.
Is Mariota playing?
I think he's questionable. So no decision yet. I'm going to look it up, though. Give me a second.
I mean, we do know that Brissett does have, a touchdown or 2 in him. But
yeah, he is questionable for the Monday night game. He has been limited in practice the last 2 weeks. He's still not fully over his hamstring issue and could be a game-time decision. The Titans are more likely to push Mariota after Matt Castle's Week 5 struggles. Mariota should be limited to the pocket if he plays, but his return would upgrade the receivers.
Well, that might affect my score prediction, but I don't think it's going to affect the final outcome.
Even though he didn't play well in his last showing before his injury, Mariota playing, it's a squash for the Titans. If Castle plays, Colts could win that game.
No.
They lost to
they
the
couldn't.
Dolphins. The Colts are better than the Dolphins.
Are they though?
They are.
I would see them in the same category.
I mean, since he's questionable, I have to take Titans, just assuming that Mariota's going to play.
I mean,
yeah.
And the Colts defense is very much like the Lions defense in that our pass defense sucks.
I must say, you can make a conditional pick. I made that, I think, in week 2 when Odell Beckham was questionable. I said, if Beckham plays, they win. If he doesn't, they lose.
Then that's what I'm going.
So
if Mariota plays, Titans win. If he doesn't, Colts win.
Yeah, I'm picking the Titans.
Yeah, me too. Even with Castle, I don't care. Titans win.
But again, this is like a couple of weeks ago. Like I told you, that way, if they win, I'll be pleasantly surprised. I won't mind being wrong about this one. All right, Thursday night game: Chiefs at Raiders.
Ooh.
Ooh. Indeed.
It really depends on what happens with. It really depends on what happens with Derek Carr. If it actually happens, what you said, J Kid, that Derek Carr is gonna be injured again, then it's definitely gonna be the Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
But if Derek Carr is back and 100%, and
it's still got to be the Chiefs
at home. I mean,
I'm as much as I'm been liking the Raiders the last couple of years, as far as being a good team. I'm not a Raiders fan. Don't misunderstand that. I'm going to go with the Chiefs on this one. I think it's going to be probably, if not the best, probably one of the better Thursday night games of the year.
The best.
Yeah. I think it has a pretty good opportunity to be that.
I mean, I don't think it can be the best Thursday night game of the season. I think we already had that with the 49ers-Rams game, 41-39 or whatever that was. I feel like that was the best Thursday night game we ever had.
I don't know. We'll see. I think it's going to be a really good game.
Yeah.
Either way it goes. But I'm going to go with the Chiefs.
I mean, it worked well last week going against both of you on the Thursday night game. It's a different situation though, because it's not Eagles Panthers. It's the divide is bigger with Chiefs Raiders. But then again, the Raiders have a home game. The Eagles did not. Oh man. Look, Blood, you called me a contrarian once before. I'm gonna go with the Raiders.
And you could be right. I mean, this one, you heard the moment of silence we all had. We're all like, oh God.
Yeah, that's really a tough one. Like I said, if Derek Carr is gonna be 100% healthy, and his offense is clicking again, they got a good chance.
If there's a Thursday I'm tempted to call into work and be able to watch a game, it's this Thursday.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
I mean, I want to take a look at. Sorry, wait. I want to take a look at the split statistics for Carr and Smith on night games in that environment, because it is different. I think we can all see that. Oh God, Derek Carr's bad. Oh man, that's especially on Thursday night. Completion of just over 50%. he's really not good in Thursday night and in night games in general. Oh man, what about Alex Smith though? I mean, he only had like 6 night games so far in his career, so it's not much of a sample size. Alex Smith in night games is actually better than at any other time of day.
Yeah,
which you wouldn't imagine. I mean, look at Alex Smith and the way he's playing. You would think, oh, he's a 1 p.m. guy or he's a 4:05. He's not a night guy, but he's pretty decent in night games.
I don't know. For me, this would be an easier game to pick if it was at Chiefs, because dang, it's hard to win an Arrowhead. It's hard to win an Arrowhead, and but it's not. So it's
until the Chiefs show me something that says I need to pick against them, which they have yet to do at all this season.
Yep.
I'm going to continue to ride with the Chiefs.
Yeah. I'm telling you right now, and I'm gonna pick against the Chiefs again. I mean, I still think that the Chiefs are the better team, and they are more likely to win this game. I'm just going against both of you, but I feel like in Week 8 against the Broncos, I feel like this could be their first actual loss if they don't lose against the Raiders. Week 8 against the Broncos, I would at this point, and probably next week, I'm gonna pick the Broncos, or in 2 weeks, I think. Yeah, I'm gonna pick the Broncos then. Just putting that out there right now.
Chiefs are the best team in the league right now.
Yeah, I believe so.
And it's not just because they're undefeated. Like I think all around they are the best team in the league.
Yeah, but wait for Alex Smith to play in November and December.
That running back though.
He's kind of
but then again, wait for Alex Smith to play in. He did that the last few years. He played well in September, in October, and then he fell into a hole.
If they can keep him out of situations where he has to be, quote unquote, clutch, he'll be fine. Mm-hmm. If it comes down to where they have to lean on Alex Smith, that's when the Chiefs crumble.
Yeah, and the Chiefs play a control game. They try to force the opponent to play their game, and that's slow and steady, and it's a control game. So, yeah.
I'm looking at the road schedule right now. I mean, they already played. Damn it! And they already played against the Patriots, or at the Patriots, at the Chargers, at the Texans. The other games at the Raiders. We have that. We're talking about that right now. At the Cowboys, they don't really have a defense. At the Giants, they don't have an offense.
Oh,
at the Jets. At the Jets, and in Week 17, their only big road game at the Broncos.
And they'll already have the 1 or 2 seed locked up at that point.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, my only fear for the Chiefs right now, and I'm with Jake. I believe they're the best team in the league at this point. My only fear for them is they get to the playoffs and choke. That's my only fear.
That's what Alex Smith does.
It'll help this year though, because they'll definitely be at home for at least one playoff game.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But still, it's Alex Smith, and Alex Smith in the winter, in December, January, he's gonna choke.
Yeah, but he does that every time. We've all seen that this is not the Alex Smith that we're all used to seeing up to this point.
What? I mean, he's better. He's a bit better, but he's playing better than he's playing better in September and October than the rest of the year every year. So you can expect him to fall into at least a bit of a hole in November and December, and then some more in January.
I don't know.
I believe there's another difference. Another difference. He has a run game.
Mm-hmm.
He hasn't had a run
think-
game in the past few seasons.
Yeah, and that's what I was trying to get at. He has a team now that suits him, that suits how he plays and who he is.
Sorry. He didn't have a run game in the last few seasons.
Are you telling me Spencer Ware is a run game?
Wait. No. Okay, that one season, okay, but you ever heard of the name Jamal Charles?
Who's been injured the past few seasons?
Partly.
I stand by my statement.
But when he played,
he got cut.
Yeah, because he was injured so much.
I stand by it. They haven't had a run game the past few seasons.
Yeah, you can't put yards on the board if you're on the sideline.
Say.
Don't even try. Don't even try minding. Don't even try.
How can you over exaggerate so much? It wasn't like Jamal Charles was injured every single game or so, or even half of the games he could have played. It felt like the whole talk was like, oh, he's injured so much. The fantasy talk was he was injured so much. He played 15 games in 2014. He played 15 games in 2013. He played 15 games in 2012.
2014. Was he injured there? We're in 2017, minding. That's 3 seasons.
Yeah, I know. But how long has Alex Smith been at Kansas City now? Oh, come on.
Your argument is invalid here. I said he hasn't had a run game in the past few seasons. You just said he played 15 games in 2014. I know you're not native to the language, but 3 is a few.
Few means exactly 2, huh?
No, that's a couple. 3 is a few.
Yeah, 3 seasons, 2016, 2015, 2014. He had a running game in 2014.
We're in 2017.
I rest my case. Yeah, but this season is not
with the year minding.
Running game now. You're saying the past seasons. 2017 is not a past season.
His last run game was at least 4 years ago.
2014 is 3 years ago. 2017 minus 2014 equals 3. I mean, what do I expect from someone from a redneck family? I mean,
that's why I tried to tell you not to even try.
Over 1,000 rushing yards in 2014. You want to tell me that's not a running game?
3 years ago?
Yeah, 3, not 4, like you said.
But it really doesn't change anything. Whether it was 2 or 3, he hasn't had a run game lately.
Right.
Yeah, lately. But he had one in 2013, 2014. And, I mean, they still weren't good in those years. I mean, well, they were good, but they weren't, like, awesome. I mean, from what I saw, they didn't even make the playoffs in 2014. Went 9-7.
Yeah.
And in 2013, they were 1 and done.
Yeah, that's the year that Andrew Luck beat him at the end, I think.
Yeah. It's the year we knocked him out.
So he had a running game, and he still was 1 and done. I rest my case.
All right. Anyways, that's we're a little bit past the hour. That's probably it for us, unless there's anything else, guys.
Nope. Not that I can think of.
Okay. Well, again, as always, thanks, guys, for showing out. Chat, we love you. Like I said before, please hit the like button, share it out. One more shameless shill. There's a link to my Patreon down in the description. If you can, even as little as $1, if you can spare it, appreciate it. If not, hey, we're all good. Thank you, Minding. Thank you, J Kid, as always.
Yes, sir.
And also, as always, get out of my yard.